this. Hold on one second. All right, what's up? Today, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Ben Joyce mechanics. Let me get us situated here. All right, now we're talking about Ben Joyce. Here we go. So for starters, this is really important here. I'll take you get this knee over the ankle. You keep it there, okay? This, if you keep your knee stacked over your ankle, you're going to do a good job of trying to hinge your hip here, okay? And I mean that this is how he loads his back hip from the second that he lifts his leg. For starters, there's minimal head movement, very minimal head movement backwards. Just up and then towards his target. And you can see, right, as he lifts his leg, he gets a little counter rotated in the hips. His hands likely move up just for like a little bit of rhythm, right? As his leg moves up, his hands move up. And it also helps him probably feel as everything comes up. And then when everything goes down, everything goes down. Legs and hands. Legs and hands. And that's pretty good. He's breaking equal and opposite. And as he gets down the mound a little bit, he's still holding this good position back here, still holding a loaded hip. And now this is the part that makes Ben Joyce a freak. He is not perfect mechanics. You're not going to look at this guy and be like, yep, that's who I want to model my mechanics after. But his body is capable of moving. He's huge. I don't know how big he is, but he's got some big legs, long arms, and he is hyper mobile. Look at this right here. This arm is, his elbow is almost like, if this was the view from behind, I bet you it would be like almost like lined up with his spine. So he is hyper mobile. The amount that he is laid back into his scap, well, retracted into the scap right here is unbelievable. And also right here as he comes through. So he is extremely scap retracted right here. And then as the arm comes through layback, that is, this right here is something hyper mobile. You don't see this in a lot of guys, even other guys that throw 100. I was just looking at Yohan Duran, and his arm is probably like this is about his maximum layback, right? Like Ben Joyce getting almost horizontal is, this guy's a freak of nature while being that big and that strong. Like Ben Joyce is capable of bench pressing a crap ton of weight. That's kind of his thing. That also is part of the reason he throws 100 miles an hour. So one thing I'll say about the bench press is that, and Ben Joyce, clearly this didn't happen to him, he can bench and not lose mobility up in that certain area of his body, right? The more that we lift, especially when we're using the straight bar, the straight bar, that doesn't promote stability. It's us using our big strong muscles, where we want to be training the smaller stabilizers as well. I would even argue that those could be more important, depending on who you are. Um, but yeah, so Ben Joyce is strong and mobile, and most high level throwers, you'll see this front leg completely straighten out. Ben Joyce's doesn't. This is what I mean. Like, this is not standard in high level throwers, really. But, and that's because your you need your leg to land in a strong enough position to block out your momentum. Okay? For Ben Joyce, it can look like this. Because even as he lands, the only thing is you don't want to see your knee, right? Go like this way at all, out in that direction. You want to keep it right there. And you can see where Ben Joyce, right? His foot hits the ground, boom, and then stops going forward. Maybe like an inch, like a boom, right there, a little bit forward, right? But that Ben Joyce is strong enough and consistent enough in his mechanics where he can, and adjustable enough in his mechanics where he can do this every time and still be around the strike zone. Something else to look at would be his glove side. He doesn't have a very good glove side here. Doesn't matter though. I mean, you could always work to try and be better. I think he's doing okay, but normally at release, you'll see that glove a little bit closer to the middle of the chest. His is almost way out by the side here. And I mean, it's not bad. It's not horrible, because if it was, then it would be very hard for him to throw strikes. But this is what I mean when I say that everybody is different. And this guy, he's a unicorn, as they say, one of a kind. Hyper mobile. I mean, his hips are already almost open, right? And is still open, almost open, and his top half is just shaded away from the plate. T-spine mobility, hip mobility, shoulder mobility. I mean, he checks all those boxes. That's why he throws 105, 106. I mean, and the fact that he's huge, right? He's a big boy. But, like, you can't be that big and not be mobile if you really want to throw that hard. Like, naturally hypermobile. Okay. If we're working out every day in the weight room, we're, unless we're one of those people who is naturally hypermobile, like I'm sure Ben Joyce is naturally hypermobile. Yeah, he definitely works on it a little bit, but this is something that he was likely born with the capability of, at least just his ability to move within his body's window, right? Like, he's got such a big window of movement. I mean, the mechanics aren't perfect, right? They do well enough. Like, they're not perfect, but they do everything that he needs to do in order to be effective, right? And something tells me it's a little harder for him to be consistent within these mechanics, just a little bit. And that means that he has to be more adjustable as a thrower, right? Because he throws a fair amount of strikes for somebody who throws that hard. He's an athlete. That's what I'm trying to get at. These are athletic movements. The adjustability is athletic. And that's why he throws 105 right there. The lead leg block is pretty standard in hard throwers, right? If you do this well, just well enough, right? If you do it well enough, you will throw hard. And this, it's simple math, right? The ball is 5 ounces. Me, I weigh like, I don't know, maybe 185. Hopefully right around there. But it's not hard for me to move the baseball, is my point, right? It's not hard for anybody to move the baseball. What it's difficult to do is to have your mechanics be on time with your direction, right? And Ben Joyce, you can see as he comes through, his leg wants to stop his momentum, okay? And stopping your momentum, right, with the arm on time is how you're going to throw hard, because you weigh much more than the baseball, much, much more. So if you get yourself moving down the mound and block out somewhat efficiently and consistently, you're going to, as long as your arm's on time, of course, like we can't have our arm be super late or super early, you're going to throw pretty hard. Arm on time, lead leg block, pretty hard thrower. But the lead leg block is tricky because it comes from how you set yourself up earlier in your mechanics, right? You can see Ben Joyce, right? Like if I drew a line right down the middle of his body, let's see. His head is on this side of his center of mass, right? Sort of, slightly, just a tad, right? That mean, for the sake of conversation, he's staying back, right? This is him staying back. Let me get rid of this. And then as he gets down, no, he's still further down. Oh, let me get rid of that. How do I do that? If I still draw this line, I could even move it over a little bit. I don't know. But he still looks like he's still behind that line a little bit until wham. You can see him make a big jump. Wham. Time to explode. And then when I draw this center of mass here, he's on this side. So, really, an efficient lead leg block comes from you being able to be strong enough with your mechanics here to keep your weight back for as long as possible until it's time to explode. And if you're doing that well, you won't get disconnected from the mound here. When I mean disconnected, I mean like you'll be like here, your back foot connected, disconnected. But he's still connected here for a while. That's good. So if you keep your weight back, you'll stay connected and you'll have an easier time with your lead leg block. That's what I got today, guys. Thank you.